Okay, let's get into it. I hope everyone had a good Thanksgiving, was able to enjoy the holidays, and let's enjoy the half day today. Market's only open half the day, so let's get in and get out of here. What else am I missing? Oh, tomorrow. It's already done. I got it scheduled. The educational video on how to pick the right option contracts will be out tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon Pacific. So I'm very excited for that. That is a great educational video, probably one of the most important educational videos that I will post, in my opinion. So, watch it 2 times, watch it 3 times, so you can understand what I'm talking about. I did my absolute best to really simplify that and show you how to utilize option contracts to your advantage. So, really excited for that to come out. Now, let's get into it. So, really, my main watch coming into this morning, I have three. It's going to be QQQ, really over this 61720, either a break and retest over this or pull back long off of a 61280. You can see we're actually sitting above the previous day high, holding that as support, so that looks solid. So if we can get a break and retest over 61720, there's nothing in its way to the upside. I really like that. SPY, kind of the same thing here. Really, if we can get a pullback long to the 679.85, that's super solid. We can clearly see that this level is being respected perfectly. Just look at that. And then even here during the pre-market, we pull down to 680.25. So super solid there. Really just looking for a pullback long off of this or break and retest up to 685.25. IWM would just be looking for a break and retest over 248.55. The momentum's hot on this name. It's hot. So if this thing wants to set up, I'm 100% down to ride the trend here. Now, on the tech names, the only thing that's really setting up is, like I said, if I'm pretty much hands off here on Tesla. I would want to see what the price action is over 429.45. But like I said, we're just pretty much back in this channel. We're bullish bias on this name. It's also opening up above, right, the previous day high. So I wouldn't be surprised if it did. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if it chopped around. We've already established that in our pre-market game plan. But Tesla does one of these. I wouldn't be surprised, right? Came back, retested the previous day high, and then continued higher. I doubt it would do one of these. I wouldn't rule it out. I wouldn't rule it out, but I mean, we can see, right, resistance turned into support. So if it wants to come back and give us another pullback long entry at the bottom of the range, I'm definitely open to that. But we'll see what happens here on Tesla. Nothing on NVIDIA. NVIDIA is still under, 184.50. Like I told you, I'm pretty much just hands off if we are in there. And then something I always taught you is the first thing I'm looking at when we come into the day is, is it an inside bar day? And you can clearly see as of now, NVIDIA is just pretty much dead smack in the middle of the range and it's in a channel on the daily time frame. So nothing here for me on that. I won't be looking at that today. Apple, I mean, we had that big breakout, which is no surprise, right? Because when we break outside of a channel, it's a lot of built up liquidity. So what do we get? A blow off top. So I'm just still waiting for one of these. We'll see. But what do you notice? Just in between, right? So now Apple starting to just do this a little bit, which is expected, right? But we're just waiting for that, waiting for that. So this would be day three, and you can see here it's pretty much just dead smack in the middle of the range. So just in between the previous day high, the previous day low, and Monday's high and Monday's low. So that's the thing on Apple. Really not touching this name until we get a pullback to 275. So I really won't even be looking at that. And then AMD. So AMD's pretty much the only thing that's setting up right now off my pre-market game plan, which looks really, really good. I'm not going to force it. Like I said, this is a very big RR trade if it wants to work out. Um, Pretty much the same setup from our last trading session. I mean, you can see this thing is starting to trend. It's starting to trend. We're expecting the key levels here. So that being said, right, like I said, I want to see a daily candle form above 214.85, and I want to see it pull back long off of here. This is an A plus shot. So this is my main watch coming into today. That's a very big RR trade. Let's see if we can get some clean price action. Hold above the pre-market high and then continue higher. But I mean, you can see here, right, 209.25. Sorry, 209.25. We got over it. And what do we do? Moving higher, right? This is what I mean when I say these are the dip buys. I tried to hold it, ended up getting stopped out, but then on the reclaim, we ended up trending higher. So that's beautiful, right? You want to be in a trade down here before we get back up here, like I always teach you. So AMD's pretty much my main watch coming into today. This is the only thing that's setting up on the tech names. Outside of maybe Tesla, I'll see what Tesla looks like. But other than that, AMD and QQQ is really all I'm going to be looking at. Like I said, Qs I do like, because let's go here on the daily. Let's look at this on the daily really quick. Look at that. If Qs gets over 617.20, there's nothing in its way. Nothing in its way. So I'm definitely watching that. I mean, you can kind of see we already had that right, that bull flag break on the daily, right? So this dip buy, that looks really, really good. So I will be watching both of those. Not gonna touch a zero DTE on Qs. If I do, I'm just gonna play Monday cons, which is I believe what, December 1st. So let me check right now actually. Yeah, December 1st. I'll be playing Monday cons on the Qs. All right, we got about a minute and 40 seconds here till market open. So you can see, seems like we'll see. Seems like we kind of already just we got our breakout, we got our retest on AMD. So if I don't get that, so be it. You can see here on the 2 minute, we got this pullback. So hopefully, we can get pretty much a deeper pullback. Um, we're messing around with zeros. So I would need the deepest pullback possible, on this. So we'll definitely see. Fairly open. I'm sorry, fairly open. Fairly easy here to have a close watch list at open. I'll give you a little tip last trading session, which is for the way I determine what's on my close watch is what is not only opening up near my key levels, but correlated with my game plan. So names like Apple and Nvidia that I just showed you, if they're not opening up near my key levels, I'm not taking a trade. I only take trades off my key level. So if it's not near a key level, I'm ignoring it. So the only two key setups here, potential setups, is AMD and QQQ. So those are really the only two names that I'm going to be looking at here. So we got about 30 seconds till market opens. Three seconds. Big candle here on AMD, so I'm being a little patient. Very big candle there. Clearly spotted some divergence here on Tesla. Big wicks, big candles, very volatile. Patience. We'll see what AMD does. It could just be trying to pull back and hold the previous day high first. SPY's gone. Ripping to the upside, breaking through the high day now. Not really liking the price action on AMD like that, so just waiting. Cool, calm, and collected. The candles are on cues. If that sets up, I rather take that. Big wicks, big candles, very risky, very volatile. Remember that. If anything, I also really like cues as well, just because I can play Monday cons, so it'll be a little bit safer. Not the prettiest candles on AMD. I don't really like that, so being very patient here. Big breakout here on Tesla. Very big breakout. I mean, that was a perfect pullback long on AMD. I just skipped that because the candles, the price action. So if you caught this on AMD, kudos to you. Like I said, it's a Friday, being a lot more conservative, but big wicks, big candles, very volatile open. Don't really want to mess with that. You're already pretty much getting this push back into the high day here on AMD. Straight upside on Tesla. So far, I'm really liking Qs just because the candles. Look at the candles on Qs compared to really AMD or Tesla. It's just cleaner price action. I mean, this was a good pullback long entry. This was a really solid pullback long entry, actually. Those candles were just too volatile. I mean, look at this first candle. Not messing with that on a Friday. I'm not messing with that on a Friday. So when you look at my chart, you tell me who has the better looking price action, right? I know Q is going to do whatever, SPY does. I know that much. Need a little bit more displacement. My alerts are tripping right now. I have no idea what that's about. Yeah, no idea. Won't let me do any of that. Nice little bull trap here. Yeah, the only thing I've spot divergence on is Tesla and well, Tesla. You can see this pullback cues. So is AMD. AMD actually looked really, honestly, really good. I mean, I know how this name moves. It's not the cleanest price action, but it's holding 214. It's trying to. Now, in case you're wondering, all right, Kel, why aren't you looking to go long here? Look at AMD, look at Qs. Only way I go long here is if I spot divergence on this name or it's in sync. So we're not getting that right now. Okay, so Apple's pulling back, or trying to at least. Everything's pulling back. I want to see if everything can pull, if SPY can pull back to this 279.85 and then find support there. That's what I'm like kind of looking at or hoping for, right? I'm not going to blindly just go long with overall market just pulling back. So in a situation like this, I'm really just waiting for the market to find support. Once the market finds support, look at some bounces here. Crazy price action right now on AMD. We see the damage body tells the story. AMD is definitely holding this 214 without a doubt. It's holding. I don't like the price action here on AMD though. Yeah, SPY is pretty much moving everything. It's just trying to stay heavy while everything's bouncing. See, times like this is, when I say this is why, right? You don't have to play zero DTEs because it's hard to sit in this with a zero, right? Your thesis is correct, but you get stopped out because the contracts are so volatile and so on. That's why I'm hoping, Qs can get over 617 because if I can play Monday contracts, that's just a safer play, to be honest. So, SPY can get through this high day, that'll look solid. Same again, a solid bouncer on Apple, but just with Qs and SPY pulling back, I mean, I see Apple trying to hold, but with Qs and SPY pulling back, I don't like it. That's really my only thing here. Let's see what next week cons look like on an Apple. Not too bad. I mean, Qs and SPY just chopping, right? We can kind of expect that a little bit anyway. So looking at next week cons on Apple, but I feel like my entry is just too late now. I was trying to read this with the market. I'm not gonna force it. I mean, this is a solid pullback long. Hard for a zero. I was looking at next week cons, but I got SPY and the Qs pulling back, so it's just a little difficult to take that shot. I was just trying to time it, but you see the price action kind of stalling a little bit. This is solid though. If you were able to catch it, that was solid. Your risk is right under 275.90. Apple's really the only one I really like on the swing trade. Yeah, that was solid. Just too much of a late entry for me. I had my contracts ready just now. I just didn't like that. If Qs can give it to us, I like it. That's what Apple does, bro. Gives you. I've noticed a pattern with this aim, man. It just gives you setups on Fridays. Just gives you setups on Fridays. Yeah, so you can see SPY. I'm sorry, Tesla and QQQ is insane. Clear divergence here on Apple. If you caught the pullback long on this, kudos to you. I was just trying to read the price action here. It was pulling back with the market, and if Qs is pulling back, I don't really care about that. But SPY was pulling back as well, and SPY is like really moving everything. So if I have SPY and the Qs pulling back, I don't feel comfortable with that long on Apple. Like I said, the safest bet really is probably the Qs, just because like if you caught this, this was a solid trade. Just right off the pre-market plan, that was solid. I just like the Qs because I can play Monday cons. So I showed you how to play the reclaim, right? So here on Tesla, when we pulled back, buyers never stepped up to defend this. So now we would wait for the retest to occur again if we wanted to go long here. Pretty much just a chop right now on the SPY and the Qs, but SPY had a very nice lower day bounce. If this thing can get over the high of day, I feel like everything else can take off. So I would love to see, SPY get over the high of day. Need more displacement here. The body of this candle closed pretty much at 430, so about a 55-cent displacement. Beautiful here on Apple. Super solid on Apple. I mean, if you cut that on a zero, you're definitely up. Yeah. Yeah, this was like a tough read for me because I was looking to go long here, but 6 minutes of this thing kind of just being jittery with the market. So I didn't necessarily like that. The SPY's moving everything. It's really not the keys. The SPY moving everything. So SPY's the one I'm watching. Like right now, this big pullback that you see on Apple, that's SPY. That is 100% SPY. So choppy on Tesla, right? Those wicks, those candles, we don't want that. Right, this is the SPY, right? Choppy on the SPY. Well, we know why Tesla's choppy now. It's back in the range. Yeah, SPY is moving to Apple. QQQ and SPY are pretty much identical twins right now. That's what I'm saying. If SPY can get over the high day, Qs can definitely, give us a nice setup over 217.20. But if SPY can't get over the high day, I'm not even touching that. Yeah, nothing on IWM. Inside bar day. Right, these overall these overall market names, really no surprise. Setting up here on Amazon. I mean, displacement retest, the cleanest price action, but let's see. Nothing on Nvidia. My chart's tripping. I delete my key levels here. I have no idea. Yeah, my chart's tripping. So AMD played out very hard price action though. Super hard price action. Yeah, my TOS is bugging right now. See, I just have my key levels and now vanish. Yeah, no idea. My TOS is tripping right now. Because on my right hand side, I'm looking at all these names in the 15-minute, and my key levels are there. So, oh well, I have no idea. But nevertheless, the pullback long off of 214.85 on AMD played out very nice. Very, very nice. Just crappy price action. Let's see, my key level here on Tesla is 429.45. Well, looks good. It does. I can't take that with this overall market, even SPY pulling back. So for those who are wondering, right, I mean, context matters. Because I'm not spotting really any real divergence on Apple. Market's pulling back, so is Apple. We can see heavy buyers do step in aggressively when we get back down there, like we're seeing now. But yeah, I'm not really spotting like any clear divergence. I'm gonna have to like restart my TOS, but we'll see. I'm gonna just focus on these. Really nothing on Tesla for me. What am I missing? Okay, so Tesla key level just reappeared in SPY. Yeah, maybe it's just me. TOS is tripping right now though. Yeah, choppy day on the SPY and the Qs. The only thing I'm really trying to get a read on is Apple, but I'm not trying to force that. That's the only thing I'm trying to get a read on here. Like you can see, we pull down here, we don't really do much. If I can get like a deeper pullback and then a candle form down here, I'm willing to take a shot on next week cons just because I have a very tight stop. But I mean, overall, technically that is pretty healthy on the pullback, right? Because you want to see, right, a pullback based on that level and then buyer step up. So it's pretty healthy. I would just prefer somewhat of a deeper pullback. So you can see we're finding intraday support here like at 276.11, and the market's just chopping. The market's just chopping, so I don't like that. I'm looking at the SPY. So whenever SPY gets a very nice pop, so does Apple. So SPY is controlling Apple right now. There's no doubt. I like Qs over 617.20 if Apple can get, I'm sorry, if SPY can get over the high today. That's the only way I like that, because now SPY will be outside of the range. Um, if Qs can get a break through the high day and then retest that, that looks solid too. Solid down here on Apple, 215. Right, so on average, Qs in the SPY moves about $5 to $7 in a day. So far, we've only moved like $3. So I like the setup if it occurs. It's 7:02 now, so market's been open pretty much just only half an hour. So, right, it's still early. Kind of got to let price action develop. Solid down here on Apple. If you're like eyeing this or if you caught this, for me, just I don't like it with the context right now with the market. Right, difference between skipping a trade and missing a trade. But this little rally you see, this little double bottom, this is all SPY. So if SPY can break through this high today, I really think that Apple can take off. We can see that we're finding some resistance like in here, right? So if we can like get a break and retest over that, that'd be a solid breaker structure. Nothing on Tesla. Solid here on AMD. If you caught that right off the pre-market plan. I mean, terrible price action, right? It's very hard to play that with a zero. Very hard to play that with a zero, but right, you ended up getting a pullback, buyer step up instantly. We pushed this pretty much all the way back to the top of the range. We pull all the way back down to the lower day. You're definitely gonna get stopped out there. We get a pullback to the lower day, we reclaim, and then this thing just goes higher. But just crappy price action. So if you're able to catch that, kudos to you. But I know that was like a hard trade. I ended up skipping that just because the price action. Like it's holding. Remember, our thesis is correct. We really never had a body candle close under 214.85 on the intraday. This is solid. Just right, tough price action at open. Definitely could have looked for the reclaim, but those big wicks, those big candles, I'm staying away from those. Solid here on Apple. Like Apple is something I'm looking for like on a swing trade. That's the only thing. Really nothing here on Tesla, right? Look at these wicks. Price action. Remember, reading the price action and looking at these candles, that's risk management. I explain a lot of these things in tomorrow's educational video, but there's so many things that fall under the tree of risk management, right? If you get a technical analysis set up, for an example, a break and retest like this on AMD, but you skip that trade because the wicks and the body of the candles and the bad price action, that is risk management, right? You skip that trade because the price action's trash, right? Even though even though technically it's set up, you skipped it. I hope that makes sense. So for me, I'm always reading, the price action and looking at these candles. Like, look at these wicks. You don't want to be in a trade with that because it's like you're pretty much going to get faked out. But then your thesis is correct, then you're frustrated. So we're definitely finding some intraday resistance here on 277 on Apple every time we push up. But you can see like this thing is kind of in sync in the market with the market a little bit. It's holding up, right? Everything else is noise. Like if you just go long off of 275 and you ignore everything else, your thesis is correct as long as you're above this key level. You ignore all the noise. So it's holding up. Don't get me wrong. This thing went from 276 up to 277, and we pushed up again to 276. Yeah, 276 on the dot. So this pushed up almost a dollar again. This went up to 276.90, and then this did push up more than a dollar. So like Apple looks solid. We know it's a slow mover on the underlying, this and that. So I'm looking for like a next week opportunity. It's really what I'm looking for here. I'm not gonna waste my time with Tesla. There's nothing there. AMD looks really good. Unfortunately, just bad price action, bro. I had to skip that. Our pre-market plan worked. We knew what we were looking for. High probability shot, break and retest over 214.85. Super solid. But price action is just trash. Especially on a zero. There's no way you can sit in that on a zero. At least I'm not. Sorry, I was muted there. I got rid of Tesla because there's nothing on Tesla, so I'm not even going to waste my time with that. Apple's holding up. The one thing that we notice here on Apple is every time we pull back to 275.90, what happens? Buyers step up aggressively. That's a fact. So I feel like if SPY can get through this high day, Apple can take off. So I'm willing to really look for a long opportunity at the bottom of the range here on Apple, right? Because this is right. We got the breakout. This is our retest, and we want to turn the top of this range into support, right? Consolidation, next leg higher. So this is really our next leg higher if we hold. So I would love to, like, I'm open to taking a trade down here next week ons, targeting the top of the range. And it's Apple, right? It's a slow mover on the underlying. So playing next week cons, if I can get a good entry at the bottom of the range, if I'm wrong, that's like a 6% stop loss. So I'm definitely willing to take that shot. There's starting to be some divergence here on the market on Qs and SPY. Like, look at SPY. All right, it's approaching that high day. It's approaching that high day. If we can get through that, it looks good.
Smoking like it's massive nuts.
Yeah, kind of a expected day, I guess you could say. Let's see. Our two trades that really played out is obviously AMD played out. There's some way somehow you were able to catch that. Kudos to you. Um, on a technical standpoint, like if you did take Apple, especially on a zero, you definitely got paid. That's still holding up, right? The deepest pullback we got was 276.02. So that is a deep enough pullback. So Apple pretty much played out. Um, Overall market's choppy. That's expected. It's a half day. It's 712 for me. So I'm gonna see what the market is looking like at 730. If it's if Qs and SPY are still sitting in this channel, I'm pretty much just gonna call it here. Pretty much gonna call it. 'It looks good on Apple. If you're able to get in here, but context matters, so I just didn't like it. That's a solid pullback too, to be honest. Like I said, Apple loves to give us a setup on Friday. I think statistically speaking, majority of my trades that I take on Apple are on Fridays. I'm gonna check that on TradeZilla, but I'm highly sure. I would say like maybe 7 out of the 10 trades that I take on Apple are on Fridays, which is so annoying. So when Friday comes around, you're playing a zero, you gotta be perfect. You gotta be perfect. You can't afford any wiggle room. So Apple looks solid. Yeah. AMD, man. Like I said, if we're really just looking for like next week contracts, right? Perfect. Like next week cons and to get a potential swing trade, I like it. Just bad price action. Yeah. Okay. So SPY's there's definitely divergence on SPY and the Qs. Qs is behind. SPY is getting there. About to break through this high today. It's sitting at the high day right now. I just want to see what this does for the overall market. I just wish I was able to catch that. But context matters. So the market looks like trash and this thing is pulling back with the SPY. I'm not touching that. Okay, so SPY looks like it wants to break through the high day. The high day is 681.85. Right now we're sitting at 681. It's almost there. Nice. Okay. So that was the high day break on SPY. So now SPY is outside of the channel. So I would love to see what Qs can do. So if SPY can turn its high day into support, that'd be solid. All right, but you can see the divergence here on these names. Like, now look at SPY and then look at Qs. See what I mean? So yeah, no surprise there. Yeah, every tech name is terrible price action. It's one of those days. It's expected. These are days when you look and say, all right, well, it's not the highest probability day, at least on the tech side. Times like this, I do try and make sure like I'm patient and I don't close shop too quick because there's been times market open like this, look like this, and I'm like, all right, today's one of those days, and I'll leave. But you look at the clock, like the market hasn't even been open for an hour. Hasn't been open for an hour, so it's about 6:18. So we'll see where we're sitting at six. I'm sorry, 7:30. We'll see where we're sitting. But honestly, like I said, when things like this don't occur, I just look at them as setups, like future setups. So me personally, I'll be happy, if on the daily, Q can close under 6:17.20. The reason for that being is because okay, then I can come into Monday and say, right, this is a key level, and I love the confluence because it's also the previous day high, and it's a big RR trade. That's an A plus shot. That's kind of how I look at it. So we'll see. SPY's retesting the high day. Well, they did retest the high day. Hmm. It's really the previous day high. I mean, now you can see, right? SPY's outside of this previous day high. Now this thing's just moving, just like that. All right, key levels hold. If you just been like trying to look for simple swing trades on the market, I mean, you got in here, right? You never got stopped out. I mean, you're up decent. Yeah, look at SPY. Solid. This thing's ripping now. Look at that. I knew this thing could take off once we got outside of that channel, but these tech names really they're not following. For sure not. I mean, Apple's solid. As long as Apple can stay above 275.90, I'm not too worried about that. The pattern on Apple is the 15-minute candle at open exposed to the upside. So it's like if you can be in a trade for this and then Monday comes around, that's a great opportunity. We got about 9 minutes here. I'm really just looking at the Qs, to be honest. We can see our 217, I'm sorry, our 617 is a key resistance level. So we did our job. We found a key level, the right key level. But look at SPY and then look at Qs. So SPY is definitely moving the Qs. It's been like that for a while now. So that's why I'm thinking, okay, if SPY can get over the high day and push, so can Qs. But man, that divergence is a little bit stronger than I thought. A little bit stronger than I thought. This key level might definitely change after today. I gotta see how this daily closes. Hmm. See, this is what I mean when I say it's just hard to actually. Let me go here. So it's hard to play these right on a zero. Like this is why I say, when you play a zero, you're starting at a disadvantage because now you can't afford that. There's no way. Like you're gonna get crushed there on a theta. Honestly, the best entry on the Apple if you played a zero was really from here to here. I know for a fact that was over a 40% trade. I know for a fact. Almost $1 on a zero on Apple. I wouldn't be surprised if that was a 100% trade. Remember the tech names, they are more volatile on the underlying on a zero DTE compared to SPY and the Qs. So there's no doubt that you got paid tremendously here. Even here, you got another shot right here to this momentum push, like up here, super solid. But it's just hard to, you can't sit in that on a zero. You either just have to like take your L or take your quick profit. Market structure's trying to hold up here on Qs. It's trying, but it's just the divergence is too strong. But this is a solid play. That's like the biggest RR trade here on Qs. That looks really, really good. About 3 minutes here till 7:30. Most likely gonna close shop. Less is more. Some of my favorite weeks is, when I get to the end and I look at how many trades I've not taken, and like that shows discipline, right? I mean, we really only had one off day today, but we showed up every day this week, and I've only had one trade this week. That's it. So, you got to be able to come into the market and have the mindset of, hey, I'm willing to sit on my hands for 2 days, for 3 days until my opportunity sets up, right? Don't throw crap at the wall and just hope that it stick. You know what I mean? So when I look at a day like today and I'm looking at the price action, I'm already telling myself today's a low probability day. Remember, our job as traders is to control our risk and our emotions. So, finding high probability setups and having cash days and all those things, those all fall under risk. You know what I mean? So to me, like today's a good day. Today I preserve capital and I preserve mental capital. That's a winning day. Today, remember, not trading is still trading. I followed my plan, I followed my rules, right? We got the setup on AMD. To me, it wasn't worth the risk. I skipped it. So really hope that makes sense. I'm trying to teach you folks, how to hold your water. Like don't come into the day looking for a trade, forcing a trade. Yeah, so here I was really just hoping once SPY got over the high day, which is also the correlation with the previous day high, this thing can continue higher on the keys, but clearly we see that's not the case. It's a low probability day. That's expected. Not a lot of volume, not a lot of liquidity, right? Half day, I don't really expect, big banks and big hedge funds to be taking large positions when the market is only open half the day. So we shall see. But I'm gonna call it here, guys. What a month, right? What a month. Very excited for what we got moving forward. Pretty much have a big announcement soon coming for us as a community. Hope you all, had a good month. And hey, if you didn't, the things that I used to do is like write down how you feel right now. Write down how you feel. I'm telling you, don't underestimate the power of that. It may sound a little cliche, a little corny. If you're not happy with the month that you just had, write it down. Don't think about it. Don't say like write it down. And you keep that and you study that. Remember, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. So what are you doing wrong? Whatever you're doing wrong, figure it out. Are you taking too many trades? Are you marking out too many levels? Are you are you coming into the market being impulsive? Are you revenge trading? Is it FOMO? It's something. It's something, right? Mark Douglas says, your success or failure as a trader, it's not the market's fault. It's your fault. Trading is what you make it. So, if you're not happy with the month that you had, write down why and then write down what you would do differently. Review all your trades from this month, right? That's something I'm going to do this weekend, right? My foot's always on the gas. I'm never get comfortable. Comfort kills. So did I have a good month? Yeah. Was it a great month? Yeah. Is job done? Absolutely not. So I'm going to go through this month and say, okay, this is what I can work on for the month of December. This is what I can do differently. This is what I can tweak. You know what I mean? So as traders, we're always improving every single day, every single week, every month, every year. We're learning, we're improving. This is a long-term game. You never make it until you are officially done trading, right? You can lose everything in a week. So just write down, how you feel this month, what's your goals for next month, right? Use that. Like this weekend, this is on Monday, it's December 1st, so going into this weekend, it's a big weekend, right? Lock in. What do you want for December? What do you want your trading month to look like next month? So hope that helps. I'm really trying to teach you guys simplicity, right? Less is more. You don't need all these levels on your chart. It confuses you. You're marking out the pre-market high, the pre-market low, the previous day high, the previous day low, the 5 minute high, the 5 minute low, the 1 minute ORV. Like it's so much noise. It's so much noise. Everything looks like a setup. Everything looks like a setup. So hopefully that helps, right? The educational video for option contracts will be coming out tomorrow. That's a really good one. That's a really good one. I would say probably the main two educational videos on here, like me explaining everything thoroughly for you, is definitely that one's going to be number one. I would say higher time frame key levels. I think that was my first trade, and then the no trade zone. Right? If you actually like applying these things that I'm teaching you, you understand that I'm trying to teach you how to think in probabilities, how to find high probability setups, how to stay away from lower probability environments. I'm trying to teach you these things. So yeah, it's been pretty cool to see people say like, dude, ever since I started like marking no trade zones on my charts, my win rate my win rate has went up. Why is that? Because you're taking less trades, and the trades that you do take are high probabilities. So something that I'll always say, and I'm going to always say it. Every system, it doesn't matter what you trade. You can be a swing trader, breakout trader. It doesn't matter. Every single system has pros and cons. Everything has a weakness, and the weakness to the break and retest is what? Channels and consolidation. So when you stay away from those no trade zones, like we are on Tesla, right? Like we are on Tesla, you're staying away from those lower probability environments. All right, let's go to Tesla. We did our job very well when this thing was just in a channel. We ignored it. We ignored it. I'm sure, those who've been with me for a while, you remember all this. It's like, I don't care. We ignored it. Remember when we took our two shots in a row at the top of the range? We got paid, right? Just go look at the videos from the start of this month. We ignored it. And then when Tesla fell outside of this channel and we turned, this consolidation into resistance instead of support, we took two trades in a row, right? Our hand was hot. So we stay away, right? We stay away. This is a low probability environment here, this channel. So, hope that little advice helps. I've been there too. Sucks. So if you had a red month, remember you got to take accountability. It's not the market's fault. It's not the market's fault. So figure out what it is you're doing wrong. But I can't stress that enough. Write down how you feel. Write down how you feel. What you would do differently, your goals for next month, what you need to focus on, what's your strength and weaknesses. Right? You gotta like trading makes you focus on you because it's something you're doing wrong. So that's my homework assignment for you this weekend. Sit down, get a composition notebook, look at every single trade you took this month. Right? If you want to be a trader, you want to make it in this game, got to put in that work. You got to put in that time. So every single trade, it doesn't matter if you took 40 trades this month. Break down each individual trade. What did you do right and what did you do wrong? And then write that you're building data. So at the end of that, when you write down every single trade you took and you write down what you did right and what you do wrong, now you have a visual of your strength and weaknesses and what you need to fix and what you need to tweak. I promise you that's really going to help you. That's really, really going to help you. So appreciate the love, support. Like I said, big announcement for us coming soon. Um, what else am I missing? I will make sure to get that the pre-market game plan out either later today or this weekend or tomorrow morning. I like for you guys to have that early in the week so you can, study it. You can build your own thesis around it. You can mark out the key levels that I'm giving you, however you want to do it, right? I don't think I'm helping you by giving it to you 10 minutes before market open. So I really try and get those out to you folks very, very early. Short week for me, right? We only had 4 trading days. I only took one trade this week. Less is more. And today, right, a low probability day. So once again, appreciate the love, support. I will see you guys on the next one.